Welcome to the Amazon Fulfillment Center Tour. We're really
Welcome to the Committee of the Whole, and let's get there. Let's grab my agenda. Think everybody's ready? Until I realized I was up here, I didn't realize I didn't have my agenda. So welcome to the Committee of the Whole, Tuesday, October 19th at City Hall, and we are here to hear a presentation from Tourism Nicola Valley. So I'd like to start with the adoption of the minutes. I need a mover that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held July 21st, 21 be adopted. Second. Christopherson and White. And any errors or omissions? All in favor? Opposed? None. Carried. And then we move right into the presentation from Tourism Nicola Valley, and I don't know who's going to give that presentation. I think it's going to be Amber, but
Greg.
Oh, it's Greg. Okay. Thank you, Greg. If you push your button, now we're live.
Perfect. Everyone hear me well? Yep. Okay. Thank you, Your Lordship, councillors, staff, for your time today, your attention, and for inviting Tourism Nicola Valley and myself to share with you the Experience Nicola Valley story. I'm going to do my best to pack in a 2.5-year story into an hour and a bit. It's the first time we've had a chance to share with you your international, national, and local success story in any type of detail. A little bit about who we are. My name is Greg Girard. I'm the co-owner of acantravel.com and the lead influencer on the project we call Experience Nicola Valley. Give you a bit about our background. Acan Travel is the largest privately operated interactive adventure travel planning and booking website. It's now at approximately 16,000 pages in size. In 2021, the program is the best inbound travel and tourism marketing business in Canada. We won an award for that from AI Global Media Hospitality Awards. 2021, we were recognized as a top 100 global power influencer by Cloud Influencers. And in 2021, we also were awarded the best Canadian adventure vacation planner. And then in 2020, we were just starting to get the ball rolling, and we had the top 20 Canadian travel website to watch by FeedSpot. The nice thing about that list is we were one of 2 privates within the list. The rest were all government tourism associations, so we made a top 20 list there. In 2020, we were also ranked as a top 23 top 1,000 global travel bloggers by Global Rise. That put us in an international sphere where we're showing what we know and what we've learned through content marketing. And just this week, we were nominated for a 2022 Canadian Business Award by Corporate Vision. Acan Travel are the developers of the interactive real-time marketing system that we call the Experience Community Platform and training program that has been adopted by Nicola Valley as the Experience Nicola Valley program. My brother and I were the lead influencers, designers, and creators, and we're proud friends of Tourism Nicola Valley and the Experience Nicola Valley program. So who is this guy talking to you today? In case you haven't met me personally, a little bit about who I am and where I'm coming from. In my previous suit and tie life, I was leading an international marketing department of 8 staff out of Edmonton, Alberta and Dresden, Germany for print and software development. Previous to that, I was a national training manager, operations manager for Future Shop Canada, now Best Buy. In 2002, I decided I needed a life change, and I wanted to go for a more of a quality lifestyle, doing something that I was love and passion, and that turned into adventure tourism. So I left the corporate life. I joined my brother at that time, who was making the first website out of a town named Sydney, with this first real-time interactive website. In 2007, we had a platform, we had the technology. What we lacked was the content. So what happened is that at that time, it's very hard when you're going into an industry that's very controlled by various associations, that you have to go out and get your own information. You've got to go get your own photos, you've got to go get your own videos. So we sold the farm, took 10 years, went across Canada coast to coast, visiting over 1,000 small communities, documenting communities, talking to communities, small businesses, figuring out what they needed, what they lacked, what sort of programs they were looking for. In 2018, we came back. We had all our programs together, and then the first place we actually came to was Merritt, BC. And this is the first place we started to build our program, to start to share our program. One of the first communities when we did come to Merritt is we ran into Tourism Nicola Valley. And at that time, we presented what we were doing and how we were different than any other system out there. And we were lucky enough that Tourism Nicola Valley had the foresight. They asked us to come in and do a community tourism analysis report to see which direction we should go, to see what type of, how we can move forward on developing tourism and economic development. But before we get into that, what I brought is a whole bunch about the program. I think it's very important that we know what market we're dealing with. So there's 5 things you need to know. To understand strategy, you really need to understand who are we going to target. What market are we going to target? How are we going to target? So according to a recent ICTT conference, which was just had, it's called the Information and Communication Technologies of Tourism Conference, they came out with some really fascinating statistics, which tells us about the market that we want to attract here, and we call it new money. So 86% of travelers right now use search engines to assist in their travel planning efforts. 44% of those respondents not only just use one search engine, they actually use 2 or 3 when they're doing their searching. Okay? So who is this traveler? Where do we find them? How do we connect with them with this new money that every community in this country is after? They're all after bringing new money in drop it into the community, go back home, and thank you very much for feeding our businesses, for helping our internal growth, and to putting tax dollars back in. So some of the things you need to know about this traveler, because this has changed dramatically in the last 3 years. 90% of travelers now do their research online. 82% are booking online. Out of Canadian travelers, on average, Canadian travelers, before they make a booking, are looking at 120 to 160 pages of information before they decide on where they're staying, where they're going, and what they're doing. 80% of travelers will spend 4 weeks looking at 120 and 160 pages of information. 90% of those travelers that are looking at this information are not interested in facts and figures. They're interested in authentic storytelling content, real people doing real things in a real community. They want to hear about what you're doing when you experience it. And this is where travel is going now. It's going with authentic content, it's going with storytelling and experiences. Now the thing that's really thrown a curveball into tourism is social media. It's forced a lot of us to pivot. Before we'd rely on websites, and that was the sole source of information. But because the travel market has changed, what their needs are and what their wants are, it's forcing tourism to shift. Unfortunately, what we've learned across the country is tourism isn't shifting. But the travel is shifting, and we're not keeping up as an industry. So what happens with if you look at the way that social media is sort of diversing itself as a second tier, first tier sort of approach to tourism, the numbers are staggering. There's 2.85 billion people on Facebook out of 4.5 billion people on social media. Facebook has almost 60% of the market share. For many small businesses, Facebook is the only social media they're on because they don't get Instagram, they don't get Twitter, they don't get TikTok, but they get Facebook. Facebook is where the travelers go. Facebook is also where the businesses bank their social media dollars on. It's a good choice by small businesses when you look at the statistics. 52.7% of Facebook users are influenced, their whole travel agenda is influenced by photos and stories their friends share on their Facebook page. I can change somebody's opinion by putting up a sweet photo of a mountain biking adventure somewhere else they never heard of, and I can change their opinion through my Facebook feed. Because one thing, your follower trusts your opinion. You do not have to win them over. You do not have to sway them with facts and fancy bells and whistles because they're your friends. They trust your word or else they wouldn't be following. So you can influence that travel decision. 62.1% of travelers share photos on social media. So what does this all tell us? What are all these stats telling us? Well, one, there's 4 things they're telling us. One, you need to be highly visible all over the internet. You can't be found once. You can't be found for just one term. You need to be found for hundreds of terms. Remember, Canadians are looking at 120 and 160 pages of travel information. Now, if they're doing that and they see you all over the place, who's the expert? There's no fly-by-night when you're found all over the place. So it's very important that you're found on the 3 main search engines, which are Google, Bing, and Firefox. We need to create a brand that funnels travelers down to our destination websites, our blog sites, and our social media. The one big thing about controlling what a traveler does and how to control their influence and how to control their decisions is creating a communication funnel. Not having them go all in 6 directions, but taking that traveler from one piece of information, pushing them into another piece of information, pushing them into another piece of information. Now they're sold on your destination, which increase your average sell, your average spend, and your average stay. We need to build an interactive brand destination, an attractive brand destination, something that's connecting on a personal level, and that's huge. You can't argue on a travel decision when it becomes personal, because that is it. You've made your decision, you've connected, you're in love with where you're going, you're excited. You can't change that. So if you can connect with that traveler on a personal level, it makes a huge difference. In essence, travelers in themselves, if we develop every traveler that comes here, if we develop it properly, the traveler is going to become your best marketing tool for inbound and for outbound. They share a photo of Merritt with a selfie, you're convincing somebody else, maybe I should go there, because that's who they're going to share it with as their followers. They're loyal to your information. Okay? So let's get back to a little bit to how it all started. Our story started 2018 when we just got back from our research of all these towns, getting our data, figuring out where the holes are, how can we help these small towns. So in 2018, we got hold of T&B. They've asked us to present. So when acanaltravel.com conducts a market analysis, it's unlike anyone else. We don't come in and make a big barricade and bells and whistles and tell everyone we're here, because then you don't get true tourism. You get a presentation of tourism. When we came here, we put our traveler's clothes on and look at the community through a traveler's lens. We didn't announce it. We researched online just like a traveler would. We're going to Merritt, let's go research online, let's pretend we're traveling, let's see what we learn, let's see how it influences our decision. Then when we got here, we researched on the ground like a traveler. We went and did what we'd like to do best. We hiked your trails, we biked your trails. We went and shopped your downtown. We went and fished your and paddled your lakes, we camped on your lakes, we stayed at your campground, and we stayed at your hotel. Before we even printed a word of what we thought. So we went and experienced your town like a traveler. Once we've collected our data, when we researched it all online, then we started to go back, we started to look at everything and compile. So when we first came here in 2018, we found an 8-page website, and then we found some social media that was representing Merritt and the Nickel Valley. Then we dug deeper. Then we started to see what can we do with these sort of talking points. So we got everything together and we came back. And there were some staggering things that we did find. One is your 8-page website at the time, 2 pages were only resonating on search engines. So you had 2 pages marketing your tourism in the community. The others weren't getting caught by tourism because of the way they were built. In 2018, you also had 71% of smartphone users are doing and looking on their phone for travel or for tourism. We could not pull the website up on our smartphone. You just took out 71% of your travel. All summer and winter activities were listed on one page, and they were written in a text form, which means it's a text document. It doesn't break up, so we can pull out of it to go on a search engine. It was a one-page text document. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't resonate on search engines, doesn't draw any attraction. Plus, it's not referring the actual traveler to the website of the hotel or the attraction or the restaurant. Accommodations, and on that one winter page that was telling the winter activities and the summer activities on that one page, swimming was the #1 activity. That doesn't make sense. You got to go with your hardcore bang for your buck activity. Fishing, mountain biking, something up there that's high profile. You don't start selling your attractions with swimming. Accommodations were listed in a text on a Microsoft Word doc, same thing. No links, just information of the address and a phone number. So accommodations weren't getting the traveler to the accommodation website to bypass booking to save the accommodation 13 to 18%. We weren't getting them to the end destination. 2018, the website linked to an outdated 2016 fishing guide. So we were 2 years behind selling a fishing guide, and the fishing guide was in a PDF format. Now, all of you here, have you ever tried to download a PDF on a phone? Your phone bill goes through the roof. You can't do it. Most people will stop the PDF download right away when they start seeing it going this really, really slow because your phone bill is going through the roof. At the time, search engines, too many of our search engines for the Nickel Valley, too many of our searches, too many travelers were connecting with out-of-town, out-of-country websites. We were getting hijacked by third parties. And what that means is this, is that if you do a search term and you're not on the first page, you're having a tough time selling your product in anything. But the nice thing too is that if you do it right, then you can really dominate something, and we'll show you some examples. For example, when I came in 2018 and we figured out that fishing, mountain biking, camping, all big features, all very important. Very important for the economic development of the community and for branding ourselves as a four-season destination. But when I was looking at fishing, what I found out is that our fishing was being hijacked on search engine by fishing with rod out of Kamloops. Now what happened was, is everyone who wanted to fish in Merritt were going to fishing a rod in Kamloops. You go to his website, and he was selling fishing in Whistler, Ucluelet, and Kamloops. Merritt wasn't even mentioned. And he was hijacking every fishing dollar out of our market. And he wasn't taking them here. And if he did, he was probably touting it as a Kamloops Lake. The featured photo in your regional travel publication at 2018 was a field of cows. I've been in tourism for 20 years. I have never seen cows by or attracted tourists. So I had no idea what this was all about. In our report, we came back to T&B with 8 different action items. They selected, out of the 8, a community program that involved locals, that involved small businesses, and where there was a big kickback for locals and small businesses that wanted to participate. So why does this all matter? Travel Mole says it best. 75% of first-time visiting travelers, people who don't know boo about your region or about your geography, admit they judge a community's appeal by the first page of the website. They will say yay or nay when they open that website. If they're going to come and spend on an average sell, if it's a German, their average spend is $7,000 to $8,000 per trip. We're not getting that. If you're looking at a local, the average person that's spending on a local trip is around $500. We're not getting those, and we need those because that's where you build up your occupancy rate. That's where you build up your profit margins. That's where hotels can now reinvest back into community events, be sponsors. So all of these have a domino effect. So what was T&B's next move? Search engines are the current and future battleground of tourism. I say this all the time, and if you ask any of the bloggers, they say it every single time. You win and lose. The battleground for any type of revenue, economic development, anything is the internet. That's where you win or lose. Travelers, investors, new families, new jobs, entrepreneurs, small businesses, all research online before they make that decision. No investor is going to come to a community without researching it first. That's just not smart business. They want to know what your school system's like, your tax base is like, your infrastructure is like, your parks are like. They want to know what land's available, what the price of land, who's selling it, who's buying it. They find that all on the internet with the right search. When it comes to fighting the good fight online, there are hundreds of factors that play into search engines. A lot of people will come into this industry, and there's 38 billion content creators right now in North America, and 0.5% get their stuff read because they think I can write it, stick it online, and everyone's going to read it. That's not how it works. There's a lot of different factors on the front end and the back end that distribute and decide how Google, Bing, or Firefox is going to position your information. And each one has a different algorithm structure. They all make decisions based on different rules. One thing is for certain. Search engines want to rank current and updated information. They want to look good when you come to them. Because if you don't, what happens is you get people like WebCrawler, AltaVista, Ask Jeeves. Where are they now? No one uses them. Because their content, their top 10, their results on searches wasn't coming through. So what we need to do is we came up with these what we want to accomplish in everything that we're doing. One, we want to attract more attention to our hotels, our restaurants, and our tourism activities by including them in as much content as possible. It's called piggyback tourism. You produce the content, and then you decide who your stakeholders are in that content generation that are going to get the kickback from your information. We needed to take back search engines from third parties. We were getting hijacked everywhere which way or loose. We weren't getting the business. It was coming to other people. We need to educate travelers on physical inventory in that Merritt is a four-season adventure destination. We have everything, we have every piece of physical inventory to be a top four-season destination. We need to educate and educate and educate. And to develop an adventure tourism market, people are saying, why adventure tourism? It's pretty simple. If you look at adventure tourism 2020, it was a $112 billion industry. You look at adventure tourism in 8 years, it's $1,126 billion industry. It's a capital growth rate of 20.1%. There's no other tourism factor except indigenous tourism that's growing that fast. We need to create a positive, updated, interactive travel platforms for authentic content. And we need to it's very hard to sell to a traveler if you don't have community buy-in and support from tourism and small businesses. You need to have them as your backbone, your foundation, to support the efforts in order for when the travelers do come in, they're getting the proper reception from the local businesses and small businesses. They're being welcomed. They're being embraced. They're being directed when they're asked questions where to go or what to do or how to do it. They're going to get that when you have the community buy-in because it's in their best interest. I believe by the end of this presentation, I strongly believe by the end of this presentation, that we'll be able to check all of these things off. I really do. So, when we first arrived in Merritt, 1,000 communities, the challenge we learned from researching small towns was that one thing. One thing we learned across Canada. There's 4 factors that every small town, Merritt is no different than anyone else. They lack skill, funding, time. Anyone know the rest? Staff. It's very hard to run a very high-end, high-capacity, high-interactive tourism organization using what's available in the market right now because everyone knows every small town does not have. Every one of you is wearing 2 or 3 hats. Every one of you is doing 2 or 3 jobs. Now try and get 2 or 3 jobs that are done, that you're doing one right, get somebody to do tourism a right way is very tough with the tools they're given. It's not their fault, the tools aren't there. So at the time, and still to this day, sadly, current community marketing models are built for urban centers. They are strategically built for big cities because that's where the money is. They're too expensive to purchase for small towns. They're too expensive to maintain for small towns. And they're too expensive to manage for small towns. So on our return, we started to develop. We figured, okay, there's a huge thing here. We're paying these big cities are paying $250,000 to $350,000, $400,000 for these programs, and then they're coming to you to buy it for a fraction of the price, but you're still paying $250,000, and in 3 years it's outdated, then you got to do it again. Or you're going to say, no, we're going to go on the cheap, and we're going to go and hire this guy per hour to manage and update this, and it's $150 an hour. There's no winning. So what we decided is that we wanted to build a program that takes all of these factors out and give the community the power to develop their brand and develop their information. By participating, locals are taught new content marketing skills. No programs do this. You don't go into a program and everyone that's involved is going on a monthly meeting to learn skills, to help their association, to help their community efforts, to help their business. Most of them come in, they'll drop the program in your lap, say good luck. Our program, everyone meets monthly, every month. From all of the ones across Canada, the adventure seekers, these wonderful people who came to support the program today, we meet every month. And you can ask any one of them if they've learned something about search engine optimization, social media, website development, and every single one can proudly and honestly tell you, yes, we've learned a ton. Our program involves multi-platforms. We don't go this one website, 8-page business. It doesn't work. Not anymore. That's why Booking and TripAdvisor and Expedia have taken over search engines, is because we've been staying with that model. What we call our network is a living network. It's always changing. So when I go to our website in Nickel Valley, promoting the Nickel Valley, if I go now and I go in 2 weeks, that website looks different. Our website is looking a lot more fall, a lot more winter, because the content that these bloggers have been putting together changes your brand with the season. We don't have to go into restructure design. The content changes with it. And it gives it a new look. And it gives it a new feel. And when I come in, I see something that was a week old opposed to something that was written 4 years ago. So it's updated. It's reliable. And it's real people doing real tourism in live time. So there's 3 components to the platform. One, we'll talk a little bit about Experience Nickel Valley. We'll talk a little bit about Experience Merritt. We'll talk a little bit about the new platform that we're bringing on as Nickel Valley Talk. And why is this important? Well, Blitz Agency puts it the best. They say 84% of millennials, 73% of non-millennials are likely or very likely to plan a trip based on someone else's authentic content. That's what we do. We build authentic content. So let's introduce you to Experience Nickel Valley platforms. First, let's start with experiencemerritt.com. Experiencemerritt.com is an interactive 50-page travel and adventure interactive booking and planning website. Here are some of the key features. These aren't all the features because the website's quite extensive and it's going through some massive changes right now as we're adding features, but these are the key ones. One is it lists the tourism businesses including everything, accommodations, restaurants. People here, I hear it all the time, when I'm around town we don't have restaurants. Well, last time I counted we got 60. We have accommodations that suit all price points. That's a big thing. We have physical inventory that is uncomparable. I've been in all over this country. And the physical inventory in the Nicola Valley is top notch. We can draw a huge tourism audience with our physical inventory that will put money into the community. Second, info pages. What we've really focused on is a 4-season adventure market. Each page is descriptive text, photos, links, videos, maps if they're available, and of course content developed by the bloggers which complement the information. Each adventure page lists the businesses and activities and stories of those bloggers that associate with that activity. So not only does it go into kayaking, but it also goes on the front page of Experience Merritt. It also goes onto the front page of Experience Nicola Valley, and then it also distributed through a national network. When we first came here, there was one page, summer and winter, on one page built in text. Swimming was number 1. Now we have 24 pages selling 4 seasons of adventure, entertainment, and activities. It's a big difference, and each page operates on its own entity. Each page fights and claws for the first page of search engines. You're also going to get current weather, highway cameras for road conditions, maps. You got the webcams on there. You got your associations on there. And this is something that's always constantly being updated. The big perk and the big thing that makes this whole platform and this whole thing different is that all 3 platforms talk to each other consistently every single minute. Swapping info out, swapping info in, swapping info out, swapping info in. Getting a new look every time. I can get excited about coming to Nicola Valley now, and then in a month I'm going to be really excited because holy crow, everything's new. We're now talking kayaking, we're now talking ice fishing, we're now talking cross-country skiing. We're talking where the season tells us to go. Mobile friendly is huge. This website, all the platforms are mobile friendly. And the big thing is experiencemerritt.com, and I know there's a lot of bad information, but it operates on its own. It's a standalone website. It's its own entity. It accesses its own on search engines. It accesses its own on social media. But it has some very, very big differences than normal websites, which no one else is doing. And it's given us a boost and a head start instead of trying to go out there and go the slow route by trying to attract travelers with a one website system. What this one has is 2 big exceptions. ExperienceMerritt.com is connected to E&B, Nicola Valley Talk, and also A Canada Travel. It's not part of the A Canada Travel website. It's ExperienceMerritt.com, and it's plugged into a system of 1,000 communities. There's a huge benefit to that. One, it still operates on its own, but the big benefit is this. We can go at a snail's pace trying to get travelers with one website, trying to track it, or we can tap into a pool of 1,000 communities of travelers and put Merritt in front of them and start grabbing people from all over the country. So what does this mean? So say for instance you got 1,000 communities and Experience Merritt has access to all of these additional travel. So here's a good example. Every other website that has a community, when you search that community, you're great. But what happens when somebody searches Kamloops, Kelowna, Bannock, Nova Scotia? We never see these travelers. They don't even know about Merritt. But in this system, if we grab them and get them into a Kamloops off a Kamloops search, all of a sudden they're saying, what's this town? 45 minutes away. Well, there's a day trip. Or maybe they find that the hotel's better and they stay there and use that as their base camp and go to Kamloops for the day. What you're doing is you're capitalizing on a traveler pool, and everything is flowing into Merritt. So the blog flows into the Merritt website, the talk show flows in, bringing people into the Merritt site, and A Canada is throwing all these people into the Merritt website. So now what happens is Merritt doesn't just position for a Merritt search. Merritt benefits from a Kelowna search, a Kamloops search, a Logan Lake search, an Ashcroft search. It can even benefit from a Victoria. If that's where they're flying in, it will benefit from Victoria. We're at the corner of 5 highways. How many times are they planning a treat and they're saying, oh, look at this, because it's on a website that's not just Merritt. Now all of a sudden they're clicking on it and they're checking it out. Other standalone websites don't have this ability. They're a one website system. It doesn't work. And they cannot piggyback anything else. We are a piggyback system. If they search Kamloops, I want them to learn about Merritt. If they search Baddock, Nova Scotia, I want them to learn about Merritt. When we understand a traveler, we realize that a better informed traveler, there's a couple big benefits. If you educate a traveler, you extend their average stay. That's one. That's a big, you go to any hotel, average stays right now during COVID is almost just less than 1%. They're not even staying a full day half the time. They check in at night and then they leave in the morning. That's not considered a one-day travel. That's an overnighter. And you ask any hotel, their biggest cost is flipping those beds a day at a time. They want 3 days at a time. So this system, the better we educate, we're going to get multi-day trips, we're going to increase average stays, and the best thing is we're increasing new money in the community, because that extra day, remember, they're spending, what they're spending, $250, $500 a day, that extra day is bringing you an extra $1,000 if they make a 3-day visit. The EM website, Experience Merritt website, only has travelers being funneled into it from this massive website that is growing at a rocket speed. Then it's getting funneled by 220 pages of a blog. There's 220 stories on the blog. Then now we're at 60 episodes on the show. All of these are operating individually. All of them are funneling the traveler into this one massive pool of information about the Nickel Valley. In marketing, what we call this system, where we're using one platform to promote another platform, to promote another platform to get that traveler through the system, this is called what we call a communication funnel. We're funneling them to the end goal, which is making a booking. That's the key. And if we need 3 platforms to do it, then by all means, let's do it. But they're all different in their own sense. The second big difference is the content marketing part. We've developed this really, really cool new system. It's what they're using now. This new system is going to be a lot more concrete. It's going to be a lot more information and a lot more that they'll be able to use. But what we call is a social travel profile. So the bloggers and participants across the country, they're able to log in and they have an interactive profile. I can go to this profile and I can create a real story, real time, real event, real photo gallery, real video, and a podcast. I can do it live. I push the button and it goes throughout the whole system. So not only are you just positioned once, you actually can get up to 8 to 10 different spots throughout the whole system. Your one piece of content is flashed wherever it is pertinent within the industry. The new updated social profile is a landing page for participants equipped with a series of content creation. No other website does this. We're giving the people who participate, they're learning new skills, but they're also getting a platform where they can click a button, a template shows up, tells them how to put the information in there based on what search engines like, they press pending, done. Then that's it. Now we've got a one-page more website. And we just added a page to all our content. It's real people, real time, creating real tourism. So if you look on the screen behind me, there's number 1 on that screen. What we've done is we've used Miss Tourism World Canada, which is part of a program very similar. These people are going to be using this program now, which is a very new, updated version. And they've got another program they're using, but this is something they can get all excited about. So all participants will have what we call a social travel profile. It's a profile where all your content is conglomerated. What you're actually building is your own website based on your content. The nice thing is when they go to the social travel profile, you have a podcast, a photo gallery, a video, and you've got all your instant feeds and everything on there. What you're doing is you're creating your brand. Everything on that page is your brand, what you believe in, what you've done. So if you have a park that you'd like to mountain bike on, you write about that park. That park goes into the park section of the community. You get the credit. You're the mountain biking guy. That park also gets on the front page of Canada. It goes into BC Park mountain biking. It goes into Canada mountain biking. One little effort just spread you across the country. And you're there for the life of that article. It doesn't scroll up the page, disappear. It stays right there. So when I go and find out about mountain biking, I'm going to get your article, another article, another article. By the time I'm finished them, I'm going to know everything I need to know about mountain biking. These are what we call real-time pages. This is where we're going with our tourism model. We want real-time because it's what the traveler wants. Content created becomes part of all our systems. When you create one piece of content, it doesn't just stay on that website. It goes everywhere that's applicable. If it's a kayaking, everything that applies to kayaking, that goes there. Because we're here to grab the traveler, or get the traveler interested to come into the Nicola Valley. The author of the article, everything you produce links back to your social travel profile. So if you're a business and you're located beside a park, you write about that park, people look at that park, then they click on it, goes to your business, you get the business, you're the expert. Well, I can go to this park and I can stay at this B&B. I can go to this park and now I can go to this restaurant. Because it's all linked up. I'm pushing all the information to your profile, which has your website, your social media buttons, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, has everything you want. Once content is created, it's submitted to a pending folder. And this is the beauty. You don't need staff. You don't need funding. Because once you create the content, it comes into Acana, we edit it. We edit the front, we edit the back, we make it sure it comes up on search engines. It doesn't go on there without getting edited. Because what's the point of Yano or Tanya, the two bloggers, and Tom, what's the point of them spending all this time creating quality content if it's not going to show up on the first page? I'm not doing them a service, I'm not doing the community service. So when they produce it, we edit it, and then we send them the edits so they can learn. My benefit is Yana learns skills so she can use it for the art community. That's my skill. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get every association, every group to learn new skills that they can take away that help the valley and also help their personal passion. Each social travel will act as a website for participants. It's just phenomenal. All content is created will connect to their interests. So Yana produces something, it goes to her website, which is on her social travel profile. Her social media is there. She can get a follower for her Twitter account. She can increase her Instagram. She can increase her Facebook. We don't hide it and bury it 8 pages deep. It's front and center. Number 2 on the screen are your tools. If you look up here, those buttons, that's how easy it is. I log in, I say I want to create a park, click, there's the form, fill it in. We show them how to fill it in. I want to create a story about snowmobiling, click, here's the form. We show you how to fill it in. You click that form, sends it to us, we edit it, we do the back end, take out the junk code that everyone tries to sneak into the code, which hurts your search engine. We yank all of that out, and then we put it up online so it positions properly. If you are a tourism business and you can add and edit your own business listing, how many times have we all been on a website where you have a business listing and you want to change it, and it is the hardest thing to get done? Here, you can log in, click your business listing, go in and change your phone number, change your date, change your picture, change your link, change whatever you want. You can make your listing seasonal if you want. You can change the way it's presented if you want. But anytime you want to change it, you can change it. Participants can create social media posts from here. So how many of us are on 3 or, in our case, 6? On this new system, I'll be able to go put in what we call a media blast, and everyone gets a live scrolling feed. Every social profile gets a live feed, which shows all their current content. I stick something into that live feed, I press post, it automatically goes on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram page. I put it up once, and it's done. I don't have to go to 4 pages. I don't have to pay for a third-party programming page, and these are some of the new things that you're hearing for the first time as much as they are hearing for the first time. All published content is promoted throughout the website. So number 3, if you look on the screen, number 3 is what's called the live scrolling feed. So what happens is, if I come onto here, just like Facebook, go on there, you put your 2 sentences in, you put your hashtags in, you click, it opens up and it allows you to either attach a photo, a podcast, a video. anything you want. You click what you want to attach, find it on your computer, you click post, then boom, it shows up in your profile on your live feed. So every time somebody checks you out, that feed is scrolling down all your information and the people you want to follow. And then if I click that, then it goes out into the social media stratosphere that you've programmed it to do. Jump that. Okay, so the new updated profile. So what we're trying to do here is really trying to give something where you control your brand, you control your messaging, you control your content. Everything you create comes back to you in tenfold. It helps you increase your market presence within the system. Why is this important? Because 86% of people said they become interested in a specific location after seeing user-generated content, according to a recent Ipsos poll. It's saying, the stats are telling us this is what the traveler wants. But in tourism, as general, it's not what they're getting. And this is the advantage we have as being a leader in this new type of tourism market. This is an advantage of putting Nicola Valley and Merritt on the map. On that. Here's an example. So we have a quick example of a small business in Merritt, Melaleuca Day Spa. They wanted to do weddings. They knew they were losing out on the wedding market. So what they did is we sat down with them at the time and we went and did some wedding searches. We looked at the market, we saw what they were doing. What was coming up with Melaleuca Day Spa is when you search Merritt Weddings or Merritt BC Weddings, WeddingWire.com and WeddingBells.com was taking over the whole thing. We weren't even getting a Merritt representation when somebody wanted to have a weddings here. So using their day profile at the time, and this has come a long way since they were there, but we still have the same process, we created a Merritt Weddings page, which is what you're seeing here. So this is Melaleuca Day Spa wedding page, and then as you see on the bottom is your listing, and if they click that, they can go to their website or their profile. Now what happened was, on that, now when we built that page using the principles that we've designed, and then we put it into the search engine. It takes 2 to 3 months to propagate on a search engine. Now when I go Merritt BC Weddings, on Google, they're number 3, Firefox, they're number 4, and on Bing, they're number 4. We had no representation before. Now we're up ahead of Wedding Bells and whatever the other one was. So we've knocked them right off the map. This is how we target groups. If we want to target a group, we as a group, we decide what we want to target and we develop content for it, and then we go out and we go and bring back, we basically, what we call it is take back the search engine. Because right now, in the world, third-party corporates are dominating and they're stealing all the money. So how many, really, when you look at it, if we didn't have one Merritt page on a Merritt search for a wedding, how much were we losing? In flowers, in renting a hall, in everything that's involved with a wedding. The second platform, Experience Nicola Valley, this is the one you're most are familiar with. Now this one includes our lovely 8 volunteers, and thank you for 3 of them that have showed up today to support the program. And what they have done is created and done a phenomenal job. In a community of 7,000, you've got 8 people out of that are putting everything they got to make it, to share people their passion for the community. 4 more are joining us, so we're going to be up to 12, and we got another 2 showing interest, where we're going to be up to 14. Bloggers, as I like to call them, is storytellers. I'm bigger on storytellers because that's what they do. They go out, they experience, they come back, they tell their story. They have access to all the custom editing tools we just went through. So they log in, boom, they're producing content, comes into editing, and then we put it out there. Yano, Tom, or Tanya get the credit. And you can even ask any one of them how many times have they been recognized because of that. And they even have some, and I know Tanya's been approached a few times, a little bit of a celebrity status. This is important as search engines and social media algorithms are changing. That's why we train. In 3 to 6 months, the algorithms that are positioning for Google, Bing, or Firefox ain't going to be the same. They never are. They're always switching it up. Bloggers will target high-value keyword search phrases for Merritt, Nicola Valley, British Columbia, and in some cases, we are stealing Canada searches now, which is huge. That develops a whole new market. E&B talks with experienced Merritt, and E&B will talk to Nicola Valley Talk. In 2 years, the bloggers have created 220 plus pages, complementing the 8-page blog site, which gives us 228 pages. In 2018, we had 2. One platform, not counting Experienced Merritt, the talk show, has 228 pages marking the region, attacking search engines vigorously, so we can gain the community's brand back and we can bring the money to Merritt, not to somebody in Kamloops, not to some corporate running out of Toronto. So first, how does it work? How we work is we select a target group. This group, what we really wanted to do is develop a winter tourism industry because we were missing big bucks. Snowmobiling, we're ranked top 10 in BC. Coquihalla, we're not getting them staying here. Ice fishing, fastest growing sport in Quebec, we're not getting them here. Cross-country skiing, we got a whole thing developed just for cross-country skiing. And we're not taking advantage of that. We've got 200 lakes within 100K of here that are great for snowshoeing. We've got trail systems, we've got gravel roads that snowshoers would dream to do, and we don't promote it. So there's a huge thing. So what we do is we take something and we'll attack it and we'll say we need to bring that back. So in this case, we went after snowshoeing. Bloggers log in, they'll write their blog using the tools, and then once they complete, they put it in the pending. A Canada gets it. We edit the front end, which is the text, then we edit the back end, take the junk out so it doesn't hurt us on the positioning. And then once it's ready, we publish it on E&B. Then once we publish it on E&B, Experienced Merritt comes in, grabs it, takes it, puts it all over Experienced Merritt, which applies to snowshoeing. So one article now is represented 4 or 5 times. The top blogs are featured throughout Canada. And then they're also put on what we call a live travel community feed, which is getting new content almost every 5 minutes from around Canada. Now they're in there. All of a sudden, when you have Merritt in a Canada feed, now you're starting to grab people from all over the country and all over the place that are now seeing Merritt like they've never seen it before. So we're in a development of a system where the blogs will all be prominently featured on all the platforms that are talking consistently to each other. And then, once the blogs are up, then they go on to the second punch, which is social media. So you go out now and you're drawing them into the social media, which draws them into the system, which then spreads it out through the system. You're educating. Again, what they do is they spend more money. After each blog is up, they achieve first page. And here's the beautiful thing. It's called, when you go and present information, we don't build content for one search term. We piggyback and use associated words, which give us 2 to 3 search terms each blog comes up with. So now we're starting to work with associated words, so when they create content, they're not coming up for one search term, they're coming up for 3 or 4 now. So we're maximizing the content to cover more ground. And it's all a part of a development process where you teach them basics and you up the level every single time. They're learning more and more valuable tools every single time. So let's take a peek at how E&B do the global stage thing. Here's some interesting. What you're looking at here are the results of E&B and Experienced Merritt targeting groups online. I've got 6 different examples how we went after different target groups online. What we did is we picked different groups and we said, here's what we're going to do. So, number 1, if you look at number 1, it's Summer Adventures in Merritt, BC. We searched that on the search engine. On Google, Experienced Merritt was number 1, Experienced Nicola Valley was number 3 and 4. On Bing, Experienced Nicola Valley was 3 and 4, Experienced Merritt was 5. Firefox, Experienced Nicola Valley was 2, 4, 6, and 7. One search, and we're coming up over 10 times. Then you go, okay, let's try a little bit, let's do winter tourism, because there's a big opportunity here for winter tourism to generate money. We should have a very strong winter tourism. We have everything in place to do that. At the time, with the winter tourism, when we were searching to research it, we were getting hijacked by every other website but ours about anything to do with Nicola Valley. So what we did is we went and built some winter tourism information, built a winter tourism section. Now when you search winter activities in Merritt, Google, E&B is 1 and 2, Experience Merritt is 3 and 4. Top 4 on Google are us. That used to be hijacked. That used to be not coming here. Bing, E&B is 1, 2, and 4. Firefox, E&B, 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 5 of the 10 positions are directing them to Nicola Valley and Merritt. Example 3. What we did is want to target a larger audience. So sometimes, if we take a little effort and put a lot of good content in there and use all the tools that we're teaching with the associated words, you can go in and you can start snagging Canadian searches. So for instance, in this one, what we want to do is we have no idea of the geography. We said, say I'm a traveler coming from Europe or Texas, and I don't know the geography. I don't know our provinces. I don't know the cities, how they work. I mean, everyone tells you Toronto's 100 kilometers from Vancouver. No one gets the concept of geography. And it's like us when we go to a different country. We don't get their geography either. We're figuring it out. So when I go to a search engine, and I say, okay, I'm going to search, and I'm coming to Canada, I might start with a generic search. So say, for instance, they search Canadian country music attractions. I love country music, but where do I go in Canada to get the bread and butter of country music? Where am I going to go? So I search it. So now when I search it, where we weren't there before, now Experience Merritt is number 2 on a Canadian search. E&B is number 4. You go to Bing, Experience Merritt is number 3. You go to on Bing, you go to the Experience Merritt number 3, and E&B is number 1, 2, and 4. On a national search to do with country music attractions, E&B and Experience Merritt have 4 of the top 10 on search engines. We keep going. Let's try 3 more. So this maybe touches a little bit about economic development, how we can target that. So thinking like a traveler, remember that's how you search. Don't search like a local, unless you plan on traveling and staying in your own hotels. Search like a traveler. Think like a traveler, and then target that group. So if we're thinking like here's one place to stay in the Nicola Valley is another search. If we did that, on Google, E&B is 2, 3, and 8. Bing, E&B is number 1 and 4. Firefox, E&B is number 1 and 4. So now we're taking all the top positions. We're not getting hijacked. We go to number 2. Now let's say it's seasonal. Now what we want to do, we did this with ice fishing. We've done this with snowmobiling. We're going to do it with cross country. We're going to take those search engines back. We're going to make sure we get the business, we get the new money, we get the revenue. So if I search snowmobiling in Merritt, Google now, Experience Merritt is number 1. E&B is 6 and 7. If I go to Bing, Experience Merritt is number 1. E&B is 3 and 4. If I go to Firefox, Experience Merritt is number 1. E&B is 3, 4, 5, 7. We're not just coming up once. We're coming up 4 or 5 times. So if you're a traveler, you think about when you were traveling and you saw the same website showing 4 or 5 times, what are you going to use? Who's the expert? These ones. These are how we're going to influence that traveler to spend more money. Let's try another one. I'm moving to a new community. I'm going to search that community before. No one's going to move to a community without searching. So if I'm moving to Merritt, and I'm going to go punch in, I'm moving to Merritt, BC, Canada. Well, now on Google, we have E&B's number 3. Bing, E&B's number 1, and Firefox number 1. So not only can we target tourism, we can also target what the traveler is going to search in order before they move here. And instead of letting somebody else tell our story, which won't be as well as we can, let's tell our own story why they should move here, instead of some other website telling them why they should move here who have never been here. In 2018, fishing, here's a good one, was hijacked on search engines, but not today. Because when we search fishing Merritt, BC, Canada on Google, Experience Merritt is number 1, E&B is number 3. And when we search ice fishing, which is something we're trying to tap in, because if you look in the Quebec market, and you look how much money they're making from the ice fishing industry, there's no reason we shouldn't be doing the same, because our lakes freeze. Our lakes are better because they're more wilderness-like. They're not in the middle of a town or a city. And we have a beautiful situation here where we can really capitalize on that industry. So if I did do that, I was fishing in Canada, in Merritt, BC, Canada. Experience Merritt now is number 1, and Experience Nicola Valley is now number 2. To date, at last count, the Experience Nicola Valley blog site and Experience Merritt Living website combined for over 2,100 plus top community keyword phrases. 2018, 2. Let's look at the numbers. Last time we shared this, let us share with you a little bit about what's going on with us and how we're growing at a phenomenal pace in not a friendly tourism market. This is devastated tourism. We're not showing those numbers. Actually, when this all blows over, I would highly expect a tourism rush. The first quarter compared to the same time last year, we're comparing a COVID year to a year of normality. Okay, that's huge. So our users were up 93.96% in a if we look at the first 4 months of COVID and first 4 months before COVID, we're up 93.96%. 8,800 users have visited the E&D site at that time. They have viewed 13,200 stories. We've influenced the traveler 13,200 times. That's up 65.83% in 4 months. Okay, so maybe that's not impressive. Let's look year over year. Let's look at a COVID year over non-COVID year, and everyone else you talk to will say their numbers are down. Well, they're using old tourism. Now let's look at a year. If we do that, the good news is users are up 80.79% in a COVID year over what was supposed to be a normal tourism year. The last year, we had 33,442 users access the site. Those users over the last year viewed over 51,853 pages of information. In fact, you ask any of our bloggers today who came to support this program, you ask any one of them, and they will tell you, we have not, at our monthly meetings, we go over where we're good, where we need work, where we need to improve our accommodations, where we need our stuff. We went and we go and ask any one of them. We have not had a negative month at all. Nicola Valley Talk was launched in the wake of COVID. This is how, what we believe, you think on your feet, you look at what you're dealing with, and you come up with solutions, not excuses. So when COVID came, we were seeing small businesses devastated, no one was shopping, no one knew who they were. We said there's disconnect between the local and the shop, where everything's sort of getting away from each other. So we said, with our group, we said to them, how can we connect our local business and put a face on them, make them personal? When I go into this shop, I want to know who the owner is. I want to be connected to them. When you show connection from the store, and I'm sure Travis will tell you this, you show connection from the store to the owner, and you show that personal relationship, and everyone who thinks bike shop thinks Travis. You want that. It was a goal to connect local tourism associations at that time from the business to the owner and put a face on it. And we said, how can we do that? You can do that with a 20 to 30 minute live talk show we hold every Thursday. We invite everyone within the community come tell their story. And it's not just selling their business, it's telling their story, what they like about Nicola Valley. Positive feelings, positive news, why I like living here, why I think I want to have my store here. All positive. This is going out, and you're getting 800 to 4,000 viewers hearing this positive note every week. Next thing we said is recently what we wanted to do is we said, okay, we saw another opportunity, farmers market. We said agritourism is becoming huge. I don't know if you guys know, but this whole environmental thing is starting to really catch fire, and agritourism is one of the fastest growing as well. And we said we saw this farmers market, and again, I believe this was Tanya and Mel's idea, and we said we're going to pop in there and we're going to do a 3-minute Facebook Live, in, out, bang, boom, boom, tell your story, let's show people who's at the farmers market. And we went and did that through the whole farmers market season. The other new initiative is Off the Clock City Talk with Councillors Tony Luck and Melvina. You may have seen this. This is resonating very well online, and it's an opportunity for the councillors and of course everyone who wants to come on the show, and it's hosted by Mr. Tom Reynolds, who does a fantastic job, and they're spilling and they're telling how does all this work? How does all of this work? And they're putting it in simple terms. They're educating the public. They're putting out fires before fires. When you look at the Nicola Valley Talk, which was launched in the wake of COVID, we have 3 bloggers. We have Tanya, Mr. Tom Reynolds, Melvina White are our hosts. Fabulous hosts. When you look at what they've done, they've taken 3 different concepts and they've managed it and they've built it. To date so far, we've produced 60 plus talk shows. That's a lot every week. Average talk shows 839 views, top shows 3,117 views, and it was the Snowmobile Club. So what does that tell you about winter tourism when your top video is snowmobiling? There's a market. There's money there. Our viewership was up 163% from 2020 to 2021. So people are tuning in, and then we come into the system and then we push it out. And it's nice because all of that is all set out throughout the whole system. Let's look at how many people the program is connected with its inception. Experience Nicola Valley had a soft launch on July 1st, 2018. The program actually, once we got the training, once everything started to kick into gear, kicked in on January 2019. During this period, the E&V blog site, Authentic Content, generated 203 views in a 2-year period. Experience Merritt Living Travel website had a launch 6 months later, and around May or June 2019, it's at 63,002 views. Then you look at Nicola Valley's first broadcast was August 2020, the first time we put up Nicola Valley Talk, and it's reached 47,467 views. You put all these views together in the time since we started, we have 231 views a day since we started. 231 people a day being educated about Merritt and the Nicola Valley. That's a staggering amount. Then we look at the second twofold, which is social media. You either like it or you hate it. Most of us hate it. But it's a necessity, because that's what's happening. It's personal, it's taking on, but it is time consuming, and we're sort of trying to figure out ways. That's why we put in the system where if you put it on here, it goes to your social media exactly, saves you a bit of time. But what is the big thing about social media is engagement. Everyone puts up posts, but if you don't get engagement, your post ain't working. So you got to look at your post and you got to say, what's getting engagement? Where am I getting my likes, my follows, and my comments? Because that's what the social media on the other end is looking at. They're looking at that. They don't care if you put up 50 posts. They care if you put up 12 posts and get 50 engagements. That's the one that's going to win. So the bulk of the engagement and the views will come from phase 2, and that's where you get your 2-punch marketing. First you punch it with the social media, you get the quick hit, right? People come in, they take a look, they share, they like, they follow, and then 2 to 3 months later, it hits the search engines, and now it's off to the races. Because now you've got, and don't forget, when content goes on search engines, it has a 3-year lifespan. If you do it right. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every month. You do it right, you teach them the skills, they learn how to do it, you build that content, and it's good on the first page for 3 years. And if it falls off, then you go back and you tweak it based on the new algorithms, and it's back up. You don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. As any other industry, the big 3 of social media are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Yes, there's TikTok. Yes, there's all these other guys coming on. But again, you don't go on social media. You go where the target market you want to hit. What social media are they using? Now, I'd use TikTok if I thought 12-year-olds are going to spend $8,000 on a vacation. I would do that. But I'm going where the money is, and that's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So that's where I focus that's where we focus our efforts on that. Facebook has a 3 times more global social content sharing activity than any other platform. Facebook shares 3 times more than any other platform. It has a higher engagement rate 3 times more than any other platform. Like Facebook or not, To the small business, we didn't have free advertising before. We had to pay. Social media is free. But here's the catch, here's the caveat. If you're going to use this free tool, you need to learn how to use it right. In fact, travel, if you look at all the three platforms right now, and if you look at what Google, Instagram, and Twitter come out and said, is basically that these are the three platforms, and the number one thing on each of these platforms, especially Instagram and Facebook, is travel, right? Statistics show 56% of Facebook travelers have their travel plans influenced. Now, I can't tell you that enough. We have the control where we can take somebody in the market that's thinking of traveling to the area, and we can help them make a better decision by coming and staying at our hotels, our restaurants, or coming to ski our slopes, or coming to do our snowmobiling. So how do we do Facebook? And how do we do on Facebook since it's influences? So here's where we're at. And this is a little report about where Facebook is. In the last 1 week period, we had 737 people like, share, comment on our Facebook page, compared to 54 by Tourism Merritt and 118 by TOTA. We're beating TOTA on engagement, meaning we're getting more people liking, following, commenting on the social media that we're putting up with the bloggers' information, and we're having that high engagement rate. Interaction is everything. It's not the number of posts. You need, even on your own personal marketing. Look at your post. If you're not getting that engagement number, then change your post, change your format, change your marketing of it until you start getting that engagement number. So in E&B, we post a minimum of one a day, depending on what type of year we're at, sometimes more. And E&B currently operates the most interactive tourism Facebook page in the region. If you look on that, we're at 2638 when this was built. Princeton's 592, and then you got the city, and then you've got, of course, Tourism Merritt up there. The big difference here, and the reason why you really need to concentrate on, again, the engagement rate is with us having 268 Facebook followers, and the yellow numbers are to increase on the right on the previous month. But what the big thing is with the followers with the E&B program, we started in 2018. The other website started in 2008, year head start. We passed them in 2.5 years. So what's coming? I'm excited about this because it's giving a lot more back to the communities. We're going to build a resource library. It's going to have checklists, courses, videos. We're going to have speakers come and courses come from all our connections throughout the world on tourism. They're going to put content. And then everyone who's a Tourism Nicola Valley member or blogger will be accessing this resource library, and they can take courses, they can learn whatever they need, they can get checklists, they can get whatever they need to build their business. And when you become a Tourism Nicola Valley member, you get access to this resource library, and it's going to be massive information. You search it, you can even find it. If you don't know what a hashtag is, you're going to find it here. If you don't know, if you're just starting out how to build a social media Facebook page, you can find it here. So the resource library is very exciting. To give you an idea, we did 5 test webinars a while back. We sold them out in 3 days, and then we sent them a questionnaire. We had 3 courses, sold them in 3 days, all booked, sent them a questionnaire, and we got 100% excellent rating back. Not one bad comment about it. Keep it simple, make it so they're enjoying it, having fun, and they will learn something. So coming soon, we're going to have a whole bunch more videos, and this is in the process. And we're sort of joking around. We call it the Tourism Professor. And what it's basically going to do is be sort of helping out anybody who needs help on any aspect. And if we don't have it, there's going to be an area there. You can tell us you don't have this. We'll go find somebody in the world that's their specialty, and they'll put it. And why would they put that on something like this? Well, because somebody in the other world, they want you to go to their website, they want you to follow their social media, they want their engagement rates to go up, they want to tag into something that's successful, and they want to be able to benefit from it. Online shopping. Now, we all learned during COVID, small businesses have a really tough time. Who can afford an online shopping mall? What if you were a Tourism Nicola Valley member and you get a shopping store automatically? All you got to do is go online, stocked our shelves, you get a nice storefront. Everyone who's a Tourism Nicola Valley member, here's your online store, and we'll do the rest. We'll market it, we'll get it out there, we'll make sure you put a special up, it goes on the front page, has a special screen. We can have a whole bunch of different things where every time you come into the website, if Travis is putting electric bikes on sale, he goes into a store, he puts it up, he says special, clicks it, boom, it goes all over the place. Everyone's going to know Travis is going to have a special. You can even have it where, if you want to know when the specials come, if I want to know the restaurant special, I add my email. When that special goes up, it comes in my email box, and I find out Game On is having a special. The next thing is, because we're really excited, because technology is changing all the time and we're trying to keep ahead of it, we want to be ahead of our competition. We want to make sure we offer what is reliable and what is effective. The next thing is the Experience Merritt and Experience Nicola Valley are getting a facelift. There's a whole bunch of new features coming. They're going to be updated. They're going to have new interactive features coming in and out. It's going to have a new fancy new look. Just every 3 years you should be changing a website. You should be giving it a different look, because that shows Google, for one, loves that. And for two, you're going to give your traveler a nice exciting new look. So how are we doing locally, nationally, and international stage? I'm not aware or fully aware if you all know what people are saying out there, but TNV's approach to tourism marketing and economic development is catching the attention of not just BC, but the world. It is receiving the respect they deserve from many decision makers based outside of Merritt. And it started 1 year within the program. The first recognition we did receive at Tourism Nicola Valley, and kudos to them for working so hard and so diligently, that they came out and they caught the eye of tourism experts around the world. One expert, who's an Australian tourism futurist who deals with countries' tourism and deals with associations tourism, and her name is Caroline Child. She featured the program as a community marketing model other small towns should follow on how to include a community in its branding using authentic content. This is Australia. The program has then been supported publicly online by the CEO of the World Tourism Association for Culture and Heritage. The 2020, the Experience Nicola Valley and the Experience Merritt program started receiving even more. The BC Business Magazine came out and they featured the program and the community of Merritt, and they featured them and they said, here's a community not sitting back and letting COVID destroy it. Here's a community that is doing something during this downtime. Next is, in March 2021, the Experience Nicola Valley, Experience Merritt Nicola Valley Talk platform won the Best Economic Development Project Award for communities under 20,000 population. Every community in BC, Merritt won. Put Merritt on the map, gave Merritt recognition for a job well done. Dale Wheaton, BC Economic Development Association President, said the BCED has given these awards to individuals who have dedicated their time to community-based economic development. These awards recognize outstanding work in supporting their local economies and making a meaningful difference in their communities. And we were really excited. I remember when we got this, we were all jumping up, BC, yay, we won! But then, 2 days later, we won a Canada award. Not just BC, we went national. And in this award is the best marketing program of the year. Tom Avon of Canada Prestige said, in a relatively short space of time, Tourism Nicola Valley has clearly created something unique in the market that is making a big difference to people in the community. The program is both informative and educational, and really helps put a focus on local businesses and what they do well. There is no question that the program will encourage more to visit the region. We are very pleased to recognize this hard work. We were pretty ecstatic to receive that, but then it even got better. Then, 2 months later, we're sitting around and we get something in the mail. After a few months, all of a sudden we get a package from the House of Commons federal government. From the tourism critic of the federal government in a nice green envelope, opened it up, and we had a gold seal certificate with a personally written sign from the tourism critic, Blake Richards, congratulating Merritt on the program. So we're in the House of Commons. our community, our valley is being talked about in the House of Commons. We have 80 written and video testimonials from small business and community associations in Merritt, BC. Great discoveries and improvements invariably involve the corporate cooperation of many minds. I may be given the credit for having blazed the trail, but I can tell you right now, the real heroes in this story are these people here. When you give a community the tools, and you give them the reinforcement, and you give them the encouragement, they will take the rest. Passion is a powerful tool. And if you give them the right tools, and you give them the right support, they can make the difference. So in order to finish, what I'm going to do is I'd like to thank you for your hospitality and your time. I hope you've come away with some great information. I hope you're inspired by what the community is doing. I hope this has helped you understand what we're trying to accomplish. I do hope you have a better understanding of the importance of this program. You have no idea. This is not done anywhere else. You are leading the pack on a world stage. Do not let this slip. You need to be the home base of this program. You need to be, everyone say it started here. You need to get the recognition these people are fighting for. Before I take some questions, and I hope you have some, I would like to leave you with this short video message. From your tourism, your small business, your nonprofit community, this is not us, this is not them, this is your front line of your community. They have a message they'd like to share with you, and I'm going to play that message. And then after, if you have some questions, I'd be very happy to answer them.
Oh my goodness. I can't stress enough how important it is. And also I think this area has won more than one award. It's been a few, but it's needed. Obviously, if we want to improve our situation, no matter whether we be the rodeo, whether we be the Christmas parade, which is being organized right now, I believe anything like that, we need the people at the experience Nicola Valley to put that out, get the word out to people that this is what we're doing. And again, those are volunteers, and it's a great group of people, and I just can't speak highly enough of them.
Yeah, the Experience Nicola Valley program has really put Merritt on the map. There's people talking about it all over. Following all the different, watching the different programs and stuff. I think it's amazing. It's bringing more people into the Nicola Valley. People are coming into our store, moving up here from the Lower Mainland, from Alberta, from all these other large centers, and telling us that they're relocating. And a lot of it is programs like this, you know, what you guys are doing as Nicola Valley Tourism, bringing customers into Merritt and keeping them here. And it's our job to make sure that we all keep them here, right? You guys have done a great job of promoting Merritt and getting people here to stay.
That's a great question, and without people like Nicola Valley Talk and the Nicola Valley program. For these small communities, it's hard to get the word out, and so we're very appreciative of that. And kudos to you guys for the awards that you've won. And I know, and the Nicola Valley program for a community like Merritt, it's the bread and butter to keep things going and get the word out and get it on the social media and get it out there for people. So thank you for doing this, and it's greatly appreciated. And like I say, kudos to you guys. It's amazing. And small communities like Merritt need this kind of stuff to get the word out.
Well, you must be doing a good job, because I got some phone calls yesterday and today wondering about me being on the show, and I didn't even remember it myself. So obviously, you're getting the hits on it. So, yeah, it was quite interesting, and people from down in Vancouver and stuff. So you're definitely reaching the audience, which is great because. So yeah, no, thank you very much for promoting this show and our little community.
I feel that the tourism industry and all of Merritt in general, it's amazing for us to have been put on the map and in such a light, and to bring more light towards Merritt, because we do live in a beautiful community. We have lots of things that we can do here, and so it's wonderful that we get to share that with everybody in BC and the world.
And I think it's brought enormous tourism to town. I mean, we've had so many young people come from everywhere, all over Kamloops, Kelowna, Vancouver, and especially Merritt, that would come and play a round of golf. And they need to know about services in Merritt and stuff to do. And there's only one place that at the moment is really doing that, and that is the Nicola Valley program, the Experience Nicola Valley program, and tourism that is really putting out the work and getting the message out. And so it's been great.
Hear about your awards. I've never had a chance to congratulate you and your group. Those are very prestigious awards. I mean, the one for the Canadian one, and I understand that people have tuned in places like UK and Australia and New Zealand. I mean, no, that's huge. You're getting the Merritt name out there.
And even people, when you get a web page like this, you go on and you'll see the different people who have been on here, and even people you don't know, you'll get to know them a little bit better, which is just, it encourages growth and encourages relationship, and relationships and emotions and relationships just build so much on what this town stands for. And it's just friendships and people who want Merritt to grow, and it's a great thing. I really applaud you for what you're doing here. It's a really good community thing, and it's great.
Well, I think it's safe to say that you guys bring a lot of acknowledgement to these little hidden gems in our valley, and sometimes it's hard to get out and advertise and promote all these little things. And it's nice to see little, places are being recognized, and I think that goes a long way in our valley. So great on you.
So just to bring the awareness of like what you're doing, I can't even put a number on that. It's crazy important. That's people coming in from either province to province or from the US. They're buying groceries at the grocery store. They're filling up at the gas station. They're staying in the hotels, restaurants. Like it's endless. I can't even tell you how important that is.
Like it's great. It's definitely something that I had never thought of doing, but it throws out all kinds of information and definitely gives a positive spin for the club, and some advertising on top of it.
Well, first of all, this format of people like me, businesses, artists, and all the people that you guys have included and showcased is just an awesome platform for people to get to know what's available locally, and so that's pretty amazing. And for tourists to get some inside information at their fingertips, that's genuine and comes from the people who live here and enjoy it on a daily basis.
I think it's amazing. It seems, I'll be honest, I've never been to Merritt.
Oh my goodness.
I will soon. But it seems so big. Just by how you guys market it and support it, it just seems so big. I know it's a small town, but the way the Experience Nicola Valley markets it and makes it just looks so big and exciting. I think you're going to get so many people coming to the Nicola Valley to experience it and to visit it, because it seems so big on the website and just so special, and it really makes me so excited to be invited there and so excited to come, because I'll be honest, I've stalked the website looking at all like the tourist attractions, and I'm like, I want a photo at every single one because everything is just so pretty. There's so much history. I'm a big history buff. I love history. So to me, it just makes me want to like hop in my car and get there now. Like, it just looks so fun and so interesting.
Well, first of all, I'd like to raise a toast to your awards, that you guys are doing such an amazing job for the Nicola Valley and surrounding areas. What you're doing and how you're promoting us and how you're getting the world recognition. I am so proud of you guys, and I just think it is so amazing. And we are so fortunate to have such a wonderful team that is bringing such amazing programs into this community that, you put us on the map, and that deserves a toast.
It does. Toast.
Keep up the good work and congratulations. And I can't wait to see what you guys have done in 25 years. I'm going to get your autograph now.
Okay, thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Are there any questions from council?
Well, that makes that easy.
Councillor Christopherson, can you pull the mic a little bit closer to you?
I'm not sure what to say, Greg. I feel like I've been hit by an avalanche of information. It's going to take a little while to process. Okay? But thank you for the presentation.
Thank you for coming. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me.
You bet.
Anybody else have questions? Mr. Smith?
More than anything, I just wanted to say that I really am impressed with the way the group has worked to connect people, especially during COVID, when I think that it's been more difficult to connect, and you've been able to leverage a platform that you'd started beforehand and really be able to ramp it up through a tough time. And so I think it's great. You see so many of Nicola Valley Talk, I think, is one really interesting mechanism of this, and to see the way that you've highlighted different businesses and different organizations and bringing people together and trying to really, create those feelings in this time, I think has been definitely admirable. So I want to congratulate you on that. I think it's been fun to watch from the sidelines. I tune in periodically and catch some of these episodes, and it's fun to see. So thank you.
I'll make a comment. Were you asking a question there?
If you had something to say, can you please come to a mic, because...
Here, we can mic.
Yeah.
Oh, but that was best.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Yano. I'm curator at the Art Gallery, and it takes up lots of my time, but I do want to say that I was lucky enough to come to the first presentation that I know that Greg made when he came to town. And I have been working on websites and on social media, and have been doing in-depth research myself for about 8 years, and had created websites and had social media. And when Greg came in and talked, I just really recognized that what he said was really important for our community. I had some friends I was talking to and saying we ought to have a website where we tell people what's going on in the community. So I feel really fortunate to have been in on the Experience Nicola Valley with this program from the beginning. I saw it kind of being formed. I really feel that Greg has the vision. He's lots of knowledge, as you can hear, a real understanding of process, like how to get from here to there. And his team with his brother have just incredible skills of putting these things into place. So the kinds of things that you hear him talk talk at this sort of great speed that he has with a lot of information, we're experiencing it like on the ground with him in a very personal and step-by-step way. And he really does base what he's doing in that idea of story and personal connection, and that is so important. And he, I don't know sort of how he has the time, but he does get out there and he seeks adventures, and he's out there himself doing these things that he wants to connect people to. So I am just more than impressed. I've had sort of personal things and my own sort of strong connections to the arts community, but I just like hanging on by my fingernails to this program just to make sure that I continue to be a part of it, because I think it's really important. And I have to give kudos to the teams that he's had over the years, the people that he's had to put this together, because it's just an inspired collaboration as far as I'm concerned. And people are working really hard for Merritt and the Nicola Valley. Just this is a lot of committed effort that I see, and it's really positive and very, very skilled. So kudos, Greg. I just like to put my 2 cents in for all of that. I'd like to be a part of it.
And we're happy and we're proud to have you here.
Thank you, Deanna. Let's see, anybody else wanting to speak? Oh, fine.
Hi, my name is Tanya Stewart. If you recognize me, I was the one holding the red. Well, I was fake one. But anyways, I want to say he did such an amazing performance. But on a micro level, which kind of hits a macro level, personally, is that a lot of people from Ontario, well, not a lot of people, but people I know on my own platform, my Facebook and that, have been coming to BC as a destination spot for weekends. So I mean, because they can't afford 2 weeks in this time, and because people have to work and stuff like that, but with flights and everything, they are giving away, this isn't a prime opportunity because flights are giving away great deals. They came to Banff, and then they came to Merritt, a 3-day, 4-day I think it was, and they actually came here for 2 days. And then the year before, or just before COVID hit, people would come here and spend 5 days here and then fly out. And they made Merritt their hotel destination spot, and they did day trips. They went to Whistler, they went to Kelowna, they went to all these places. And this was in the winter time. And I just want to say, it is a huge market out there to get. And also with the talk show, a lot of people from out east are watching. And that's what I just want to say, how far the impact goes, okay? And also throughout the world, but especially from out east, because a lot of people want to come out here, okay? And want to stay in Canada.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Greg. I know that this has been, I agree with Councillor Christopherson. There's a lot of information here and a lot of information to absorb. I have 2 kind of questions in the back of my mind. The first one, and I don't think you can answer either one at this point, but the first one is, how do you actually know when somebody comes to Merritt and stays in a hotel that they saw through your website, or that they just, I mean, is there that direct connection? Because I didn't see any of that in your presentation. It may be there, but.
What? That scenario won't happen with any website. No matter what website's out there, that scenario will never happen. There's no website to live engagement tools in place. Everyone will tell you the way that they're going to track it is, one, by visitors. You'll see it through visitor numbers. You'll see it through revenues. The other way you'll track it is people will start coming to their hotels and they'll start asking. And they'll start saying, I saw this on Experience program. I saw this on Experience Merritt program. There's no program in the world right now where you can take a website traveler, bring them to a hotel, and track it from that without asking them or without them telling. And that's the only way you can track it. But what every other tourism website's doing, whether it's here or whether it's in Germany or whether it's in Japan, what they're tracking on is basically they're looking at visits, engagement, and numbers. And if you have that, if we have 10,000 visitors, you're going to get that result. If we have, in this case, 211,000 views, we're going to get that result. So what you do is you track the numbers, then you tap it into what your growth rate is, your tourism numbers, and your average stay. And and that's how you track it.
Okay, Councillor White, do you have
I don't know about the Best Western, but I do know that the Ramada has had a couple of comments as to what brought them to Merritt, and I haven't asked any other hotels that, and that just came up in a conversation that was like, oh wow, do you know? So you know, I don't know how many people are asking that question, but there are some that are coming because of the information that they're getting.
And that may be worthwhile to be able to contact the businesses to say, we need feedback or whatever.
I think another too is if it goes on the other end, if you do a double take, if you reverse it, if the tourism business sets up referral analytics on their websites, then they can see how many people experience Merritt, experience Nicola Valley are sending them. But that's up to the individual business. And unfortunately in our industry, a lot of individual small businesses aren't aware of the tools available to them. So they don't even know how to set this up to get their referral traffic and to access their stats in order to find out where these people are coming from. The other factor too is, as Melzina said, if you have community buy-in, then what happens is they're going to start talking about it to the traveler. The traveler will say, yes, I remember, I started talking that. If we don't have community buy-in and we're not supporting the business and the business ain't supporting the efforts of the city and what their marketing programs are, then you're hitting that void gap where the communication funnel is destroyed. What I'm trying to say is that if we keep the communication funnel going both ways, then we're going to start hearing, and we already do start hearing, of Experience Merritt, Experience Nicola Valley, and how that transfers.
Thank you. And I don't know, Amber, if I'm putting you on the spot, but how is this program working into the potential for TNV's marketing body?
How putting you in the spot, on the spot. It's okay. I'll wake up now. I was mesmerized by Greg's story. So sorry, could you repeat the question?
Just how does this fit into the TNV strategic plan?
The overall strategy. So TNV, the mandate is to increase visitor stays, to increase just general visits to Nicola Valley, and to increase the amount spent by those visitors in the valley. Sorry, should have drank some water first. Part of the overall strategy is to do that through efficient and cost-efficient ways in which it's accessible to the majority of tourist operators, motels in the valley. And one way we recognized, and that was upon talking to Greg, especially when A Canada first came to Merritt, was through a digital online strategy. So how does it fit? We've worked really hard with Greg alongside, first coming up with some funding. Thank you. First coming up with funding to support the initial digital marketing strategy. Thanks, Melvina. And then after that, we received funding through the Rural Dividend Grant to continue that. And so year after year since 2018, Experience Nicola Valley and our work with A Canada has just increased in terms of that strategy. Just going back to your question about tangible data, we're working on that right now with Greg as well, just because, just like as Greg indicated, most marketing is intangible, and so there is statistics. So based on website visits, on social media engagement, there is calculations that we're working on to feed that back into some of the data that Greg showed too, in terms of engagement that larger third-party travel experts have come up with. For example, like Expedia, they look at those type of statistics too. So we're working on that right now to provide that with our data to our membership.
Thank you. And Mr. Smith?
Yeah, Your Worship, I just wanted to provide a little bit of feedback as to how that might tie in, given Council's direction, to kind of explore partnership with Tourism Nicola Valley and how this is I'm not going to say in stone going to work, but how it's likely going to work. One of the strongest points of this program, at least in my view, is the fact that it's really community-based tourism. Is how I could describe it. The content creators aren't paid staff, which is obviously great from a financial perspective, but it's the people who have the most invested into it. It's the nonprofit organizations, it's the businesses that are really driving a lot of the tourism-based content, which is obviously a huge add when you're trying to create authentic experiences, allow things that people are going to be able to share out and get excited about in our community. So I think that there's a strong bet that as we look towards a partnership, that you're going to see this kind of community-based tourism model be the anchor of what councils, but collectively the community's tourism strategy is going to be. It's just a fact of life when you have a relatively small budget, even if we are successful in bringing on MRDT tax and getting some additional dollars, it makes a difference and it'll go far, but we're never going to be able to have a page team of content creators the way that some of these larger centers have to really drive very specific curated content. And so I think this is a fantastic value add for our community, and I think that when you look at what the final integration is and how it gets proposed, I think that it's very likely going to continue to fall in with how the community is marketed, at least from kind of the staff recommendation side, and the council will have lots of opportunity for input there.
Yeah, and just to finish off, now that I have a bit of water in my throat, the other thing, just feeding off what Sean said, there is, one thing, yes, it is cost efficient, so it works really well in rural communities where resources are limited, but what Greg and the rest of the team have developed is world class. So this model can be easily transferred into an urban center. It's just that it started off here. So I guess going back to your question is, how does it fit in with our overall marketing? Well, it's perfect. It fits exactly in what we're trying to do in a cost-efficient way with, as Greg has developed, with volunteers and community buy-in, which is one of the number one things that we're working towards in TNB. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No other questions? Oh, do you have a comment? Oh, you looked like you were headed for the microphone for mine.
Unless I can talk.
It's 7:45. I'd love
Thanks,
to
Greg.
talk.
I'm very good at talking.
I got that big time.
Excellent.
But thank you very much for your presentation. It did give us a lot of data to look at and a lot of understanding of what the program consists of, so I thank you for that. And I look forward to this partnership with TNB that we are trying to put together. And that's on behalf of the entire community. Yeah, I look forward to it.
I just need you to know, Mayor Brown, I came because of the picture of the cows.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. It's an art thing as well, so.
I was going to say, I came for a different reason.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
One of the things I think we got to be aware of is that Merritt is the home base of this program. It's the first one that took it on. It's the first one that said, yes, I like it. It's the first one that said, we're going to take the risk. You won't be the last. There's other communities contacting as we speak that are interested in this program, and they're not in BC. They're all over the country. And as soon as COVID clears, I think it's going to be as landslide. I would really like to have some sort of system in place where Merritt gets the credit. But to Merritt get the credit, you got to buy in. It's got to be a teamwork issue. And we got to do it together, and we got to support it together. Or else somebody else will come in and swoop it up. And I really strongly believe this is a good opportunity where Merritt could have its head office address of this whole program, wherever it goes, whether it goes here or there, that the Merritt address is on this program as being the one that started it. And it's a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity to kudos. It's a huge opportunity for recognition. It's showing innovation.